Okay.
We know that OSHA has a standard for the control of hazardous energy, commonly referred to as Lockout Tagout. And Lockout Tagout has 3 component parts to it. We need to have written procedures, training at the right level, and periodic inspection of those procedures. Well, let's focus on the training. Basically, what this standard is implying is that you have to train everyone in your workplace on Lockout Tagout, but you don't train them the same. So there are 3 levels of training that are required for Lockout. They actually are referred to as authorized training, affected training, and it will say other. Now, I just put an all in front of others so that we say we've got authorized, we've got affected, we've got all others, and that way we can remember train to the 3 A's. Now, you are not going to train those groups the same. The authorized people are the people doing the work where they're doing the service or maintenance of the equipment, and we don't want them to accidentally get zapped by an energy source when they're working on that. Well, obviously, these folks need to be trained at the highest level. This is what we call primary training, forwards, backwards, inside, and out on those procedures. So I would hope that when we train our authorized personnel, we're training them in a detailed level that might even require hands-on training so that they know how to do these procedures well. The next group are affected. Now, that is typically the people who are affected by the lockout procedure, oftentimes the machine operators or anybody in that work area. The affected people need to be trained on the front end of the lockout procedure and on the back end. So the most important thing for the affected folks is understanding the communication that needs to happen with the authorized folks to know when they're going to work on something and when they're finished with the task. So the affected people need to have good training too, but not at the same level as the authorized. The third group is all others, and that's basically anybody else who could be in your workplace that could walk through an area where a lockout's going on, and they need to be trained at what's called the incidental or awareness level, which means they know enough to know that a lockout procedure is happening. So the one primary thing that they have to be taught in that training is what does the lock look like that the authorized personnel is using that indicates they're working on those machines. Now, this is a very different level of training than your authorized are going to get, or maybe even your affected. And this could be a handout that's given to them, or maybe even a very quick computer-based training, which would just be making them aware of what this procedure is as it's customized to your work. The point to remember is we need to train everybody in lockout. So train to the 3 A's, and you'll be doing the right thing to set the stage for lockout training.